just got back from the gym. Let me adjust this a little bit. And I was going to make some dinner, and I thought, let's go. Jump on live, see who wants to watch me make what I'm eating tonight, and we'll do a Q&A. So, ask some questions. What I've decided to make, and I'll repeat it as more of you join in, but what I've decided to make is literally, I just ran in from the gym and I had no plan, but it's always so easy to pull out a frozen burger, and I pre-measure my burger patties and flatten them out into individual Ziplocs, and in the freezer they go, and then it's really easy. And I throw them directly from frozen into the air fryer. So I decided I'm really in the mood for a burger because I haven't had a burger in a while. And I know a lot of you have been watching me do a little bit of fried cheese, so I've been on a little bit of a frying cheese kick. And I thought I would fry some cheese up too. So let me get my oven going here. And then, yeah, ask some questions. Let me see who's joining in here. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is, well, I'm going to start the cheese first. So I'm going to try to angle this so that you can see. So I just have some shredded cheese. Let me get the light on. And this is a copper coated pan. I don't put any grease or butter or anything into the pan. I kind of just gonna make one large one of those. And then I also have I've actually never bought these. It's halloumi, and normally when I fry halloumi, I just get a block of halloumi. So, hello Patrice Brown from Ohio. Sorry you missed my Ohio meetup. I was there the day before Halloween. But this is available at Aldi's, and so I wanted to check it out because I've fried so many different types of cheeses, and I saw this at Aldi's, and I never bothered to buy it because, like I said, I just get the bricks of cheese. But yeah, these literally look like fries. You can see in the bag there. And I'm just gonna fry a few of them up because you know what? The more I make, the more I eat. So I try to be a little chill. Now here you can see what the cheddar is doing. You can do the same thing with mozzarella, Swiss. I know it seems weird to just throw cheese in a pan. You'd think it would stick or just really get gooey and gloppy, but if you keep letting it go for a while, it's really pretty awesome. It can make a nice chip. And I always tell people, because people ask, do you eat cheese? Dairy's inflammatory. A lot of people don't tolerate cheese. I'm sorry. But I know for sure for me at the beginning, I would have a very difficult time having adapted to carnivore without the help of cheese and getting through sugar cravings, sugar addiction, food addiction in general. This was, and I'll keep showing you because I don't have a wide angle here, but it was so helpful because honestly, I just have to say that many of these, if you're like going through a white knuckle moment of trying to get off of chocolate or caffeine or just in general a sugar addiction or processed food addiction or the standard American diet, many bites of this that I'm making now is, or even I'll go so far as saying binging on something like this is way better than a single bite of the ditch food. And we'll just call it the ditch food. You all know what I'm talking about, whether it's popcorn or Doritos or pizza or ice cream or cookies or you name it, you know what your go-to ditch food is, but it's way better than that. Have added at this and eat enough of this that you don't even want to think about the other anymore. And it's not easy. It's really not. I get it. So I'm going to get to your questions, and let me see if, but what time is dinner? Yeah. So for those just joining, I just got in from the gym, so, and I had no plans of doing this, but I thought, you know what, I'm making myself something to eat. This is my second meal of the day. My first one was at 9:30 this morning because I actually woke up kind of hungry. And so this is actually, it's 6:10 here now, so it's been quite a while, but I was fine the whole day. I actually posted what that first meal was on Instagram. Ooh, I know some of you over here on YouTube are total not Instagrammers, but I often post my meals over there. I posted my blood sugar and glucose this morning. Sometimes I'll take a photo of my meter. I don't know, this halloumi sticks are not, they're kind of spreading out a little bit. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to keep going with that. And I'll give you another shot at the cheese here. The key with the cheese is this stuff here is do not touch it at this point. I repeat, do not touch it at this point because it's just gooey and you can't do anything with it at this point. It has to keep going until some of that evaporates, some of the water comes out of the cheese, and kind of the oil that's coming out of the cheese will kind of settle down. I hope this comes out right. Oh my gosh, now I'm thinking, trying to think, I think I usually do it in this pan. So let me get back to what I was saying. I just decided to go on live and do this because I know I haven't been on live on here in a while, and I don't want to forget about coming over here and doing these YouTubes. So this is right out of the freezer, and it's pretty much a 4-ounce burger, and right from frozen. If I haven't thought anything, and actually lately now I've been doing it because it works really well, but I'll stick this right into the air fryer, and we're gonna set it I'm trying this one at 8 minutes. I like mine really rare. I know when I do a 6-ounce patty, 10 minutes at 380 is perfect. Hi from California. Hi, Susanna. It's perfect. I haven't done a 4-ounce one, so I'm just reducing it down to 8 minutes. And you know, it's not so critical, well, especially for me, because I will eat my burgers raw inside. So as long, you'll see, it'll get pretty cooked. I don't want it. Actually, somebody mentioned, so there's somebody over on Instagram who eats frozen raw ground beef and said it's delicious and that they don't actually like it room temperature, but they like it from frozen. And I said, oh, I'll try it, but maybe I should pull it out of the freezer. So I'll pull one out of the freezer because actually this is just reminding me that I said I would try the frozen ground beef just to see what it tastes like. So this is just literally right out of my freezer. It's actually pretty hard. I don't know if I could actually eat an entire meal other than picking away at the edges, because this is really pretty firm. So I'm not so sure what that person's thinking about, but taste-wise, it's fine. I actually prefer it now that I've tried it frozen. I love it at really like room temperature is my favorite for like the whole beef tartare thing. Okay, I have to pay attention because you can see this halloumi is frying up, and this is not really coming. So you can see you're just gonna oh darn. Just flip it, and that's all there is to that. Honestly, I wouldn't get this. Here, I'll show you again in case some of you are just joining. This is the Aldi's cheese fries, so for some of you who have Aldi's and maybe never bought this, I'm only making a few here because I am not looking to gain weight. So we're gonna now check. Let me put this in the fridge. Okay, now we're gonna check this, and this is still not at the point where I'm gonna really touch it. I'll just show you on the edges. See, it's starting to get a little bit crispy here, but you can see it's liftable here, right? So this is at the point where I could flip. Let's see how I do. There we go. Look at that beauty. So, what I'm talking about with this is if others in your family are sitting on the couch and they're either eating popcorn or ice cream or a bowl of Doritos, I just want you to understand that it is perfectly normal, psychologically, emotionally, to start going crazy in your head, like, like, and then what? Do you just sit there and say, oh, woe is me? No, you come and you make yourself something like this, or like this, right? And you know what else is really, really good? Go to the deli section, and I'm talking about people who are transitioning into this and need these kind of hints. I'm not saying I do this on a regular basis, because no, I don't go and buy like a large like Genoa salami, like boar's head, a real nice one. And I used to do this when I had kids, and this is when I had turned to carnivore. My kids were like 12 and 14, and I'm gonna shut this off because the second side doesn't really need much at all. Now what you can also do with this is you can drape it over, like you can put a kind of like maybe chopstick or wooden spoon handle over a deep bowl and drape this over and make it into a taco shell. But to me, I just love to eat it as like a big, delicious chip. Can you do this with light mozzarella cheese sticks? So, yeah. Now here's the thing. So this is halloumi, and let me shut this off. I'm gonna try to keep myself going here without. So this is halloumi. This is actually, known to be frying cheese. With a mozzarella cheese stick, yes, you can do it. You probably have to cook it a little longer to cook out any moisture, because these kind of, look at that. These kind of cheese, grilling cheese, halloumi, they're, as far as I know, I'm not really sure what designates them as a frying cheese other than there's less moisture. It's drier and firmer and harder, and it doesn't go to goo, kind of like that cheddar did at the beginning. So with the mozzarella stick, you probably have to just cook it a little bit longer, and then it will fry up though. Again, don't touch it during that mushy part, and wait until it gets to this like crisp up part. So let me show you what I do typically. Hang on. All right. So with this is really tough because this camera angle is really not that great. But so with this, you can just put it on a paper towel and let it cool a little bit. I usually don't cool it too much because I want to eat it right away. But, and you can see there's just like a little bit of like that kind of oil in the pan that comes off of the cheese. But at this point, you could bend it, mold it. You could put lots of different really good, you could put taco meat in there. You could put on, actually nothing and just eat it. You cool it a little longer, this will get crisp, like firmer like a cracker. And let me just put on here, I'm just gonna fold that over and leave it on the plate. And then I'm gonna put on these other cheese sticks right on it. And then we're just waiting for, let's see how many more minutes this says. Oh, speak of the devil. It is the burger finished, or at least my 8-minute timer on that finished. So I'm gonna get that out. Where was I going with that? Oh, sorry, I go on a lot of tangents. Yeah, so if you're at that moment where you just want something, you can get up, what I was getting at before, you can go to the deli section and buy like the Genoa salami sliced, just have them slice it thin, and you can roll it in mozzarella sticks and then just microwave it for like, I think it's like 12 seconds really is all it needs. And then the cheese starts to get a little bit soft, the salami starts to like get hot and crisp up a little on the edges. And I don't know, line up 4 soldiers on your plate and go sit down with your family who's eating garbage and enjoy. You know, you can, sometimes I take that with a fork and eat it as opposed to picking it up. Depends on how hot you make it, and if you get it too gooey, it's a problem to pick up. But it's a great little go-to kind of trick. You can spread pork rinds and like, I like the cracklings. Let me show you what I have. So I actually picked these up when I was on my trip to Ohio because we don't have Kroger's, but this is just a store brand of, now this one is red pepper. All it is, the ingredients are pork fat with attached skin, salt, and red pepper. So for this as a potential, you can sprinkle this on a plate, get a nice kind of single layer going, grab some shredded cheese, whatever you like, mozzarella, pepper jack, cheddar, even you can even do blue cheese or feta, and just microwave it for, I usually do like 15 seconds, which gets the cheese nice and melted in there, and it doesn't make the cracklings mushy or soft. It's actually like a real crunchy, like nachos. So I'm just getting at things that you can do to try to keep your sanity with transitioning to this, because I know it's difficult. I know this is a strange, it's not strange because this is the way man's eaten for millions of years. It's not strange. Just remember, everybody else eating all that processed junk, that's strange, okay? We're just getting back to nature and natural, and it's hard because we've already been exposed to all of this unnatural food. All right, I'm gonna grab the burger out of here. And like I said, I've been doing this more and more, the burger straight out of the freezer. And like because I'm trying to track my macros, because I've been really paying attention to the amount of fat versus protein. And yeah, I had, you want your glucose, your morning glucose, to be about 72 to 84 as ideal. And you want your ketones between 1.5 and 3 as ideal. I know you'll read things that'll say over 0.5, you're in ketosis, but ideally that's the range you really want to shoot for. And so I pay attention to it. So if I get a big package of 80/20 ground beef, it just makes it so easy for me all at once. Like I'll have a 3-pound package to put into here, and then I smash it down flat once I seal it, and then they just stack real flat in my freezer, and I can pull it out. It's already measured. This one's 4.1 ounces. So I can put it in my tracker really fast and easy. All right, so here is, I should take a picture of this. Hang on a sec. I need to take a picture so I can have something for the thumbnail for this. All right, let's go to picture. And we're on photo. Wow, that looks really pretty good. All right, now I'll show you. So this is just the big question mark. And I'll know in the future, because like I said, I had been doing 6-ounce frozen burgers in the air fryer, but I will cut this open. And look how perfect that is. Well, perfect if you like it rare. I love it just like this. And it's juicy, it's not dried out, it's not overdone, and that is dinner. So let me scroll back up. And honestly, this is not normal dinner for me. I normally do not do this amount of cheese, but I had bought the Aldi halloumi fries just for this purpose because I started doing a couple of those cheese videos where I did the blue cheese whipped butter, and I wanted to, people kept asking, like, what is it with this frying cheese? And there's a Mexican cheese called queso frio that fries up just like this halloumi. And I mean, you can see it is just delicious looking. I'll take one bite. But I wanted to show you how I fried up just plain shredded cheddar. And since I just got back from the gym and I walked for an hour on an incline and lifted weights, I'm okay having the cheese tonight. And so I guess actually if I'm going to tell you, I probably would just have the halloumi and not the other as far as my meal. I try to make small meals. It's satiating, it gets rid of the hunger pang, and it's simple, it's quick. So yeah, I just think that quick and easy is really the best way to do it. Oh, so some of you saying this is how you make your burgers. Let me go back up, and Melissa says, for weight loss mode, would you say 80-20 fat to protein is a better way to go? I'm going to say, Melissa, absolutely. I've had so much success with this and tried to transition people. It's not easy at the beginning. It's really not. If you're new to this and just going into carnivore, it's kind of tough jumping in as an 80-20 carnivore. I'm just telling you, because it's kind of weird for me, even as a long-term carnivore, to really concentrate and do the 80-20. And this right here is not 80-20 by any means. The ground beef happens to be 80-20 ground beef, but 80-20 ground beef is not 80-20 in macros. It's about 72% fat to 28, because you got to remember in the burger meat there's water, and so that is part of the weight, and it's complicated, but you have to put that in the tracker to get your macro on it. So what I'll do, and I'll show you, hang on, is at the end of my meal, this is how I get my 80-20 in, because I'm not so keen on just eating beef, just eating beef fat. Some people order beef suet and eat it, but so what I've done, I make these, he doesn't really look cute, but it's a little bare. It's brown butter. Some say browning butter isn't ideal. You should eat just plain butter. I do have some really nice French salted butters in my refrigerator that I will cut off and just eat the butter plain. I'll show you a couple brands that I have. I mean, there's so many great brands, types of butter. And usually you get them in the specialty kind of cheese section instead of instead of the butter section, but I'll show you. So with those butters, you can actually even see kind of the salt in there. You see like that, I call it kind of like marbling, but that's kind of the thick salt of it. So what I'll do is I'll just weigh this on, this is my favorite scale. It's called Truweigh. I'll put a link at in this because it's so accurate, and that's 10 grams. So I'll just put that in my tracker. But I for sure with this meal will need to have some extra butter. Darn, it's so good. So aside from the French butter that I will eat directly out of the fridge like this, like I said, I make these brown butter bears. I sprinkle in the mold. So I happen to have the mold here because I just washed it. But so here's the mold. They're actually really, you can see the size of these things. It's pretty big. So on the bottom, I sprinkle a tiny bit of everything but the bagel seasoning. Then I cook up little bacon bits, like Costco bacon bits, and I spoon in a little into each of these, and then I pour in the browned butter, and then this dark part on the top, that's that milk solid that gets, it's salty, and I love it in each one. But yeah, you can see there's a little butter and a little of the seasoning in there. That's also a great thing to use to beat cravings. I'm telling you, anything you can do to fight off eating something not on your plan is what you want to do. So if it's fried cheese, go for it. If it came from an animal, go for it. If it didn't, you got to break the pattern of falling in the ditch and allowing yourself a little this, a little that, because you know you keep going and it's hard to stop, and a little cheat meal ends up a cheat day, ends up a cheat weekend, ends up, let me just get through the holidays and I'll start in January. So I'm trying to get people to understand this is no joke. We do not moderate this stuff. If you are strongly drawn and addicted to this stuff, like I was and am, I'm just a recovered addict at this point. You'll just keep, alcoholics don't say, oh, it's the holidays, I'm just going to drink now and then I'll get back on the wagon. I mean, you got to take it as seriously as that, unless you want to keep going through your back and forth over and over, year after year, and then it's health issues, and this doesn't get better, it just worsens over time. And that's why I decided to host, I don't know if you watched my last live, I'm going to tilt this because I'm getting tired of bending over to get in the camera, but if you watch my last live, I talked about doing that Carb Sober Holiday. So I hope a lot of you who are in here now have been in them. If you haven't, I recorded the first 2 weeks of it, and this Thursday night, so it's Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I did it the last 2 Thursday nights. No charge. Anybody and everybody who wants to come in to this Carb Sober Holiday talks is free to join in. I have the recordings of the first 2, and plus the link is the same, but the link for this Thursdays, and I'd love to have you there. My groups are basically all like what I do for this Carb Sober Holiday, which is basically have discussions about how you deal with social situations, how you deal with people who come at you with, what are you doing? Don't you realize you're going to have a heart attack? And why are you not eating the asparagus? And, you know, one of the replies that's so good is just say, you know, I really appreciate your concern, but I feel great. End it at that. You don't owe anybody an explanation. So always remember that too. And the other really great thing to have in your head as far as what to say is, I just don't feel good anymore when I eat that. And it's got to stop right there. If somebody says, "Oh, it's Aunt Sue's, famous chocolate mousse she made," and I really don't feel good when I eat that, and nobody can deny you your feelings. So you have to have these things in your head, and you have to have a plan walking in. But I'm going off on a tangent here because I just wanted to talk about my holiday Zooms that I would love all of you to join in if you'd like. I'm trying to think of how I'll do this. I'll put the link in here, and give me till later tonight though, because I'll edit it eventually. Right when this ends, it'll go into YouTube, but it'll take me time to edit it to get the link in there, because I have a group that I meet with every Sunday night. So if any of you want to join into my December groups, I have 3 different groups, and I would love to have you there. I keep the groups small, so everybody has an opportunity for me to get to know you, and you can ask real specific questions, and you can talk and interact. And it's so important to listen to other people's stories and experiences and learn from it. And I just feel like community is so important in this, because it's very, very solo being in this strange world of eating healthy, actually. So especially when others are all naysayers, and it makes it really, really difficult. All right, I'm going to scroll through to try to pick up a couple questions here. Um, Hello from London. Wow, it's probably late in London. Robert says, my carnivore muffins are the bomb. I have to say, they are one of my absolute favorites to make. That, the quiche, the buffalo chicken magic is really also a real, real big favorite. And then I also have a seafood medley on there that's so good. The sauce is basically butter, heavy cream, bacon bits, and a squeeze of lemon. It's really good, but that tastes so good. You put it on the plate next to a steak, and the sauce goes onto the steak too. It's really, really good. But I'm so glad that so many are finding that meaty muffins are being well enjoyed. Hello from Alabama. 29 days on ketovore and lost 8 pounds and feel great. I love hearing that, because it's all about feeling good. And I have Aldi nearby, so we'll check that out. Do you still use butter? Yeah. Yeah. Big time. I eat a lot of butter, and I eat butter directly with a meal, after a meal. Actually, sometimes these, what I call bacon butter bears, are my dessert, my little final little thing after I eat. Okay, so now let me show you with this. You can hear it's firmed up, it's hard. This side's probably a little softer than this side, but I'll bite into the crunch. So you can hear that it's so delicious. So again, eating 5 of those on a little craving binge is so much better than digging into chocolate or a cookie or chips or any of that toxic food. This is not toxic. If you have to overeat this to get you through the cravings, then overeat this. So what if you delay your weight loss a little bit? You got to get on track and stay out of the ditch. All right, I'm going to keep going with trying to pick up some of the questions. My kids love melted cheese sticks. Yeah, who doesn't love melted cheese in general, right? Hello from New Zealand. Enjoy listening to your lives. Oh, my beach walks, yeah. So I'll be going, it's freezing cold here now. It's probably 33 degrees right now, because I just posted when I came back from the gym. But I'll be going to Florida for 2 months, January and February. So I'm going to go do some live beach walks in Florida. I think that would be awesome to do. Any tips for sty? My wife upped her butter and developed first eye bump ever. Coincidence or old glands getting active? I think it's a coincidence. I think what she should do is start applying a lot of warm, very warm, hot compresses. After the compress, take your finger, press and roll. It's called a digital, because this is your digit. It's called a digital massage, and try to help express out the sebum that's kind of clogged in there. Styes are typically not infections or not bacteria in there. It's just the sebum that's clogged up and backed up and gets like to be a sore red bump. But as soon as you feel anything sore in your lids, you should start hitting it with hot compresses. But yeah, totally not causative from the carnivore diet. Hi, Dr. Lisa, sending hellos from Florida, Oldsmar, Florida, West Coast. I might actually head over there if I do a meetup with Dr. Kiltz. He's over in Sarasota, but there's a chance I might head to the West Coast at some point. I'm going to be on the East Coast in January and February up by Jupiter. Hi, from London. Love the pork belly recipe. That's another huge winner. Just beginning my journey, do you recommend I concentrate on protein or fat? Well, Patrice, you have to concentrate on both, and you have to concentrate. And, you know, again, here is my hesitation with trying to encourage people to do the 80-20 is that it's so hard just wrapping your brain around eating just meat. I say at the beginning, go ahead and just eat carnivore. Eat meat, seafood, eggs. But keep in the back of your mind that you want to eat the fattiest cut of meats. You don't want to trim off the fat. You want to eat the fat. Cook your eggs in a ton of bacon. Not a ton of bacon, in a ton of butter. And then also bacon. Bacon's actually not that fatty. It's really pretty mind-boggling. You think, oh, bacon's like all fatty, and everybody says avoid bacon because of your heart and all that. But you know, once you cook bacon, most of that fat cooks off, and you've got a lot of protein there. So I was dipping my bacon in my whipped brown butter recipe, or I was spreading some cream cheese as a nice high-fat cheese. There's 10 grams of fat and 2 grams of protein in a serving of cream cheese. So I was putting that on my bacon as I ate it to bump up the fat. But yeah, you get my dilemma here. I don't want to push new ketovores turning carnivore. Well, usually people who are in keto are already in tune with needing to be high fat. They have fat bombs and they eat avocado because of the high fat. So you might already be in that world of high fat. And if so, then yeah, track for a little while and concentrate on getting 80% calories as fat to 20% protein. That's in general. You know, you might do fine with 75-25. You might really pick up your weight loss if you go to 85-15, but got to remember, you're making small meals that are just snacks. And yeah, look at that, is so good. I'm going to take a bite of the burger. I forgot to put salt on it, but it's still really good. Somebody asked me today, because, hang on, I posted over on Instagram how I use this pluck quite a bit on my foods. This one's the spicy one. There's a regular one. I empty these containers into a nice, this is a beautiful like marble container. And what it is, in case you don't know, because some people are asking me, but move this over. It is a seasoning mixture that is dehydrated heart, liver, spleen, kidney, and pancreas, I think. And I know, everybody knows organs are healthy. I don't like them. I haven't eaten them all these years. But this company put out a real clean product. They also now have this spicy one, and they have, I think, a garlic herb one. I like their original too, but I've been actually playing around with, I have the original in there, but their spicy one is delicious. And what it is they mixed in a beautiful combination of spices along with the dehydrated organs, and I do not taste the organ flavor at all. It just tastes like a delicious spice blend. So I keep it by my stove. I throw it on some eggs when I'm cooking them. I throw it on a burger. Do I use it every single meal because I'm pushing myself to get these organs in? No. I use it as a seasoning because I don't get organs in any other way. I don't buy capsules. I don't buy any supplements. So I figured, you know what? This is all pretty much pure organic. Um, yeah, everything in here is so spot on. I'm trying to see if they have, there's no sugar, no gluten, no fillers, nothing artificial, and it's certified organic. But basically, it's a mixture of Redmond real salt, lemon peel, garlic, parsley, mustard seed, thyme, cayenne pepper. So I've always used spices, seasonings all through my carnivore journey. I don't eliminate them. I don't feel like, and I've had people write to me about my everything but the bagel seasoning and sesame seeds if I'm at a restaurant and I have like a tuna that's in the sesame. I say, you know what? Cumulatively over a year, maybe all this is going to add up to maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons. And guess what? I'm not eating Pop Tarts and donuts and ice cream and cookies, and I'm not going to just fret over something like that. I mean, if somebody wants to be totally dogmatic and say, you're not carnivore, you're eating sesame seed and poppy seed in those butter bites, all right, so be it. But I'm okay with using these little bit of spices. And this in particular, like I said, I jumped on this because I do believe there's value in organs, but I'm not purchasing tongue and heart, and I don't like liver. I do like liverwurst, so I do dabble in making liver pate. So I understand 80-20. Should I eat 2 or 3 small meals a day? Um, yeah, so whatever you're comfortable with. The meals should be small. Like, I mean, this is a small meal. This is a 4-ounce burger. I used to pack in a pound of ground beef at a meal. Like that would be my meal. And I realized that that was not good for my glucose and my A1C over years and years. I'm 57. I'll be 58 next week. Is it a week? Gosh, like, yeah. And I just look at it like my body isn't tolerating that big onslaught of protein. And this 80-20 thing has just been magical. And realizing the meals have to get smaller just because you don't need that much volume when you're eating that high of fat because it's really satiating. So it saves on money for sure. I mean, gosh, a 4-ounce burger instead of a pound for a meal is a big difference. And then butter, or fat trimmings that I get free from a local restaurant or from the butcher. Sometimes they'll charge you $1 a pound, but it's so nutritious. It's so delicious. So, but as far as 2 or 3 meals a day, do that according to your schedule and how you feel. And for me, it works out great just to do twice a day. That's my prefer, just because that way I'm only cooking and eating twice, and I eat enough that it's just like I said, my meal this morning, it was a bratwurst, 2 eggs, cooked in a lot of butter, and I think it was like 2 ounces. No, it was an ounce of goat cheese. That was 7 hours of total comfort, not thinking of food. So I'm I would have had to eaten like a half of the bratwurst, 1 egg, and an ounce of goat cheese to then fit in 3 meals. So I would rather just eat a little bit bigger of a small meal and just do it twice a day because I still feel like I'm eating small meals. No way around it, but I'm totally satiated, which is what is the really the most important thing, or else it's not sustainable. All right, I got to pay attention to the time because I have my group tonight. So I'll just throw in a plug because I am so happy to host these groups and have so many people get benefit, and people who haven't been able to stay on track in the past who've come to them and gotten the support. And there are WhatsApp group chat in between, and I'm active in that. And it's just really a very powerful way to get over a food issue. And I just hope that anybody and everybody who is interested will join in and gain benefit from it. All right, let me keep going here. My KitchenAid blender is just a dust collector. Yes, I use mine. Look, it's over. Yeah, you probably see it right here, right? I'm backward. Oh, there it is. Yep. Yeah, I definitely use it. And I'm actually going to show a video where I am making canned salmon, and I'll show you how I do it with no mayonnaise and bump up the fat to a real nice 80-20 ratio, because you know that whether you're using salmon or tuna, it's high in protein, very low in fat, and we do not use mayonnaise at all. So, well, unless you make your own bacon mayonnaise, or you know, there's other forms of mayonnaise that you can make. But yeah, I make my buffalo chicken magic in there. I make my meaty muffins in there. I make my quiche mixture in there and just pour it out. It's still really, really handy for all those kind of things. And I make my whipped brown butter. I make my whipped blue cheese butter in there, you know, with the different attachments. You got the whipping attachment, but yeah, so I definitely use that. With the way the world is anymore, I've learned not to give a pluck. Keep up the great work. Yeah, pluck. I'll put the link to the pluck, because honestly, if I tasted a smidge of organ in there or an off flavor, I would totally let you know. And I even experimented with using more and more of it to see at what point would I start to pick up an off flavor. And yeah, it's so good. Greetings from San Marcos, Texas. Really good to find you on here. Having a real hard time committing to this, although I am basically sold on it in general. Yeah, so JW, here's the thing. You're sold on it. You've probably heard enough of either, there's so many of us out here now, physicians, cardiologists. There's Dr. Chafee, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Nadir Ali, Brett Scher, Dr. Robert Sywis, and we're all talking about, you know what, this is the way to eat to be healthy. And if you eat the other way, it's just a slow suicide. It's eating in a non-optimal way that's gradually going to get you to a disease state, especially if you're including sugar, grains, processed food, seed oils. I mean, those are like the absolute get it out. But so if you're somebody who says, well, I'm going to just eat meat and I like to have some salad and veggies and some nuts every once in a while, I say go for it. If that is satisfying to you and keeping you in good health and has gotten you off all your meds, no diagnosis anymore, and you're at a lean body weight and you feel great and full of energy and you're eating that way, then great. I'm not here to, you know, command that everybody totally stop the vegetables. I do think there's a amount of toxicity in vegetable matter that we shouldn't be eating, so I just choose to not eat it. And you know what, you buy it, it goes bad quick in the fridge, and you got to put stuff on it to make it taste good. I mean, you know, your salads, it's, you know, salad dressing, and somebody will say, well, I just use olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Okay, well, balsamic vinegar's got sugar. 80% of olive oil is adulterated with the crap seed oil, unbeknownst to us. So where are you at eating this salad now? And so same thing with other vegetables. I mean, raw Brussels sprouts do not taste good. You got to cook the heck out of them in bacon fat, and which is bacon fat's fine. But my point being is that I always have I scratch my head at people who say, yeah, I'm almost there, I just can't get there. And I guess part of the problem though is the socialization around you and the family and the coworkers and the friends. And I get it. I was there. And you have to have a strong enough why, or a strong enough decision in your own mind that this other food is really not healthy. This food is really good. Like, really good. The problem is staying away from all the other stuff. Keep yourself full on this good stuff, and you won't have to worry about the other stuff. And you have to get to the point where you just don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. Who cares? What do you care what I'm eating or not eating. So you have to have a mindset around it. And again, for the most part, I say you really kind of have to have your why that makes you cry, because there's such a strong draw to stay in the standard American types of food. It tastes amazing. It's addictive. It's sweet. It hits our dopamine. It hits our sweet sensor on our tongue. It's comforting from old memories. It's what we've turned to for many years to fill a void. There's so many reasons why that ditch devil in our head keeps drawing us to it. And you know, your little guy in there could say, you know what, this isn't really for everybody. Everybody's different. You need your carbs. You know, whatever it is that tries to convince you of that, you don't need carbs. I ran 4 half marathons on ribeye and bacon. You do not need carbs, trust me. This is what I mean. I had no idea cream cheese was so high in fat. Love the tips. Yeah, you know what? It's been interesting for me too. The mindset as far as bacon being really high in fat. I'm like, oh, nope, really not. Better add some butter or cream cheese to it. So, yeah, it's a learning experience. I'm learning too. So I'm just here to help and share. I mean, I've been doing this 13 and a half years, so I've got a lot of experience under my belt in general, but I'm still learning. Jennifer says, I'd love to get the pluck. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, as soon as I heard and saw this company's stuff, and I'm going to tell you too, they do not send this to me for free. Darn it, they don't. They make everybody buy their product, and I'm always really, I'll tell you, I feel very strongly about, I will not ever promote something that I wouldn't buy with my own money. And most of the time I do buy most all this stuff with my own money, and I will never tell you about it unless I truly love it and use it and purchase it myself. So I'm not here to be a walking billboard or an advertisement. One of the things I love about carnivore is that it's pretty much, I'm going to say it's free. You eat meat, seafood, and eggs, and dairy, and water, and coffee if you're addicted to it, tea if you really want it. But that's the thing with this. We're not selling keto bombs, and although I got to say, certain products like this pluck, which I feel are pure, I'm not going to buy organs, freeze dry it, desiccate it, pulverize it, mix it with spices, and make my own pluck. Not happening. But that somebody else makes this product, so awesome. Well worth the money. This stuff isn't cheap, and I can't remember whether it's like, I mean, this package is 1.76 ounces. I mean, it goes a pretty long way. It's not like really tiny, but I can't remember, but it might be like $11 or $14, but I don't know. I feel good every time I sprinkle it on my food, and I feel good that I'm getting at least some organs. I've just not ever been into, and then you could say, well, why don't you just buy the capsules from Ancestral, wherever, I don't know. A lot of different people now are making these. And I've just been not a supplement kind of person all this time. I just feel like I don't want to feel like my health depends on purchasing a capsule in a bottle. And so that's kind of where I was at with that. Braunschweiger, good way to eat liver. I like it. I love Braunschweiger. And if you can find a good, clean one without, you know, some of them are kind of junked up with corn syrups and whatever, but a lot of them are pretty clean. I found a liverwurst that I really love from Whole Foods. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it now. I'll remember it. And yeah, that's one way I'll get that. But you know, on a day-to-day basis, I just love being able to sprinkle on. And then you know what you can do too is you can just go ahead and add it into the meaty muffins and serve your family, and your kids will have the delicious meaty muffins. You can do it with bacon and sausage. You can do it with leftover brisket. That's one of my favorite things. I buy an extra pound of brisket from my local smokehouse restaurant. They'll do it without sauce, just like smoked brisket. And then I'll chop it up into chunks and put that into and make a meaty muffin with that. You can also make the meaty muffin with chunked up corned beef and substitute the cheddar for Swiss and make a Swiss and corned beef. It's just amazing, and it freezes really well. It's a quick grab and go. And it's really good for breakfast. But yeah, you can throw pluck into anything. All right. Let me keep scrolling and see if I can find a couple more. Is apple cider vinegar safe? Ingredients: organic apple cider vinegar and water. Absolutely. Hang on just a sec. I'll with the way world. Yeah. So I definitely, from what I've researched and learned and read from scientists and all sorts of different, I went down the rabbit hole with apple cider vinegar because there is a benefit to stabilizing your blood sugar. And if you, the thing is like taking a tablespoon prior to a meal, I'm not so good about doing that. But what I have, I do feel there's a benefit to it. So something like that, I I drink seltzer sometimes during the day, and um, let me just show you what I do. I know I would have this all organized ahead. I thought I was going to be going into all this stuff, but so it doesn't really matter which one you get. There's Bragg's, which is the big one. This is an organic with the mother. You know, it's got all that cloudy muck-a-luck in there that's supposedly good, but actually from what I've delved into research of, they're not sure if there is any much of a benefit to this mother that's in here, but what the heck, I figure I like it. I like the thought of the way it is as far as having the solids in there. So so to use it often, because I like it in my seltzer, and I have a, you can see over there in the corner, I have a Aqua Fizz. It's a soda stream, but the only one, it's Aqua Fizz, is the only one that has glass containers instead of plastic. So I could go in the fridge and get those too, but I think you've had enough of me running back and forth. But I will then, because I put my apple cider vinegar into a glass pump jar, and yeah, I got this at Home Goods, and I don't shake it. This stays on the door of my refrigerator, and then what I do is, hang on, I always have my seltzers in my Yeti, and so I just bring this over to my open door, and then I go, I know how many pumps it is to do a tablespoon, and then I pour my seltzer on top, and I have my apple cider vinegar mixed in with the seltzer, and it's delicious. At first it's a little weird, you get that little bit of a twang, but I've grown to love it, and I actually kind of miss it when it's not in there. So you might want to just start with 1 tablespoon, and then you can progress up to 2 tablespoons if you want. If anything, who cares? One's better than none. So I think I actually just put 1 in, and every time maybe I have 2 or 3 of them during the day, in addition to some other water. But that's something that I think it's beneficial. Yes, please, to salmon and tuna mix. I love them, but not enough fat in them. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to give you a little heads up hint on what's coming with that, but you can, if you want to make it my way, but I know some people have a psychological thing about raw egg yolks, but a couple raw egg yolks, a half a stick of soft butter that's just been sitting on your counter, and just like a little bit of mustard, and you mix that up, and it's delicious, like really delicious. And you can mix it. I'll do a can of salmon and a can of tuna and a stick of butter and 3 yolks. It's like the amount's not critical, but I just found it's such an easy, great way to make a tuna salad or salmon salad. And you can actually then with the tuna, or with the salmon, you can make salmon cakes and just do the egg yolks and just a little bit of butter and fry them up. And put a little dill, get fancy on the seasoning. It's really, really good. All right, I have got to go get ready for my groups, and I hope you guys will consider joining into the groups. I would love to meet you and get to talk to you, so that's my way of doing it. And I'm gonna keep. How do you join the December group? I'm gonna put the link in this under this video, and you'll be able to do that. I always think I could say, well, go to the bio and Instagram, but I know a lot of you are not on Instagram. But I will, yeah, you can go to my website, and then it has the link to go over and get information before you join in. It'll give you very detailed information. It tells you that I record every meeting. Everybody in the group every week gets the recording in case you missed it or you came in late or had to leave early. And yeah, it's have you hit today? I don't know what that means. Yeah, but on my website, it's CarnivoreDoctor.com. I'm still in the process of getting CarnivoreDoctor.com, but it's not in use, and I've offered to purchase it, but I can't get it yet. But yeah, that website will get you the information, and I'll also put the link in here. So thanks so much for joining. I am going to, I guess, eat my cold dinner, which I love it cold. I could eat burger cold out of the refrigerator and totally enjoy it, so that's no big deal. And the cheese I might warm up a little because that is a little bit better warm. But thank you for joining, and I'm going to try really hard. I love if you guys leave a comment. It really helps encourage me to remind me to say, oh my gosh, these people are into it, and I'm going to come back here and keep doing these. And I love reading your comments and your questions, and I try my hardest to actually answer them all. So we'll see you next time, and thanks again for joining.